get started. Everybody, put your instruments down. You won't need your instruments for a while. You're going to go into lead pipe and mouthpiece. We'll start with some air and a few other things. My name is Raquel Rodriquez. I'm at Tennessee Tech. I used to be at Northern Kentucky University for 7 years, so I know a few of you look very familiar to me. Sorry if I've forgotten your names. It was a long year, my first year at Tennessee Tech, so please forgive me, but it's good to see everybody. It's good to be back in Kentucky. I know Kentucky is a really passionate, who's from Kentucky, actually? Woo! You guys, and who's in high school? Woo! And the rest of you guys, are you in college? Music programs? Okay. Tennessee Tech, you're wearing your shirt, cool. Kentucky is known for their awesome marching band programs. Who's starting marching band next month? It's like marching band camp? Yeah. You sure? If you're in Kentucky, it's next month. And how about college marching band? Who's in college marching band? Not so much? Okay, so I won't go too much. But I was going to do some movement kind of thing, stretching. What is our biggest enemy as trumpet brass players? What's our biggest enemy? Yes, tension. Tension is our biggest enemy. We're always trying to be efficient and relaxed and not doing this. I've seen a lot of students when they go to marching band, and they come in for lessons. It's just like, it's a struggle until, marching band lasts until about Thanksgiving, right? And for some, even further than that. So I think right now, as you're preparing for summer boot camp, it's pretty brutal. I'm gonna throw in some things that I think could help you. I'm going to start with some stretching. I'm going to take these off. So if you get some space, a little bit, we kind of, if you can get people, so people can get in the middle. Before we get to stretching, we should warm up a little bit. So, you guys ever heard of jumping jacks? Oh, no. Now we're not going to do a bunch, but we're just to get limbered up a little bit. How many should we do? 20, 25?
30.
30. I heard 30. Here we go. 30. Get some space. Y'all ready? Here we go. Let's wake up. 2, 8, and 1,
2, 3, 4,
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Almost there. 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 29, 30. All right, now we're ready to stretch. Let's start with our upper body. Let's just start with arms. Just kind of do this thing. Trying to relax, catch your breath. Getting our minds and our bodies ready. Anybody ever do P90X?
Yo.
I feel like that guy who's talking. We gotta get our mind ready. All right, switch. Did y'all know playing trumpet's a physical activity?
Yes.
It really is. Does anybody go jogging or walking regularly? Or
Every day.
should be doing it? All right, do this thing. This is good too, because you guys do a lot of sitting down, don't you? All right, next. All right, let's do some neck. Just kind of on your own, just side to side. Feels good. All right, let's do some shoulder with counts. Then we go first back, and then we're going to switch going this way. So how about 8 counts? Go 2, ready, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One more, and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Switch it, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Last one, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Out. Do some tree tricks. Now this is stuff that you don't have to do every single day, but as you guys are getting ready for marching band, this will help. Instead of just going in cold and then suffering for a week. Size. We're gonna do some hands. I have a drum corps in my background, and so some of this stuff is some things that we used to do, and I always thought this one was a fun one. Let me do it for you real quick. It's probably easiest. Just gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. So that, did I get that? 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Oh. How about some legs before we go on to some breathing? Can y'all do this thing? Don't hurt yourselves.
You're horrible at that. You can't hit you. You'll never be trusted.
And just to be fun, and you don't have to do this every single day, obviously, but stretching out this thing where you can do the toes up. If you find a partner, do this thing.
Hey, big boy. Oh, my toe. This isn't a flight band. I never use my toes. Why? I don't do marching band. You should. No, I shouldn't. No, we used to have one. Because then it was horrible. Because you get 2 hours of concert band every day. And then you have 2 hours of marching band.
No, but they were good. They're like crown before crowns.
Well, that's
The director's master.
I marched with them. All right, guys, that's a great stretch. A necessary one if you do marching band, because those toes cannot ever be high enough. Someone asked me what corps I marched. I did Star of Indiana. It used to be based in Bloomington, Indiana. Then I did the whole brass theater thing, and then the first year of Blast in London. So, yeah. So, all right. We're gonna start with some breathing. We're just gonna kind of like who's done breathing gym type stuff. It's gonna be just that. So we're not gonna do a lot. We're gonna get right into playing after this, but I want to do 2 exercises. We're gonna use our hand as our visual. We're gonna do karate chop. And when we breathe in, we're gonna do this thing. When we breathe out, blow into the center of your palm, kind of thing. And we're going to start with 6 count air. Make sure that you pace yourself even so you're breathing evenly throughout and you're staying relaxed. Especially when you blow. Don't blow out. We're doing 6 count. After 3 counts, you've already wasted all your air. Make sure you pace it out. So, the metronome. We're just going to go in for 6, out for 6, and keep doing that over and over, and then we'll start adding some movement, some tree trunks, and just trying to get our intercostal muscles to really start loosening up a little bit. Here we go, 6 count, in for 6, out for 6. And 1, 2, ready, and in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and out. 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, and do some movement. Just kind of move around. 5, 6, and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Last one. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, boom. Yeah. All right. Now the next exercise is we're going to do 6 count, but we're going to start increasing the counts without movement. We're going to go 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. As you get into those bigger breaths, longer breaths, stay relaxed. You don't have to blow super hard, just consistent. So we're going to start with 6 and into 7, 8, 9, 10. Here we go. Everybody just do this. Tense, tense, relax. Tense, relax. Here we go. 6 and 1, 2, ready, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There you go. Oh, I think you're getting ready now. And I think breathing, doing external breathing exercises away from the horn can be very beneficial. Who does that in your marching band programs already, or have done it? I think it's pretty cool, pretty great. I still do that. I use tools though. I use that little thing, breath builder it's called, has a ping pong ball in it. And there's other things that you can do, the PVC pipe, if you have one of those. But even just doing that before, I think sometimes can really save your chops. Your air is the key to everything. Air will save your chops. Support. Can someone tell me what is support? Have you heard someone said support? No.
Yeah, it's a constant airstream.
Yeah, constant airstream. Everybody just do this. Just, yeah. Now, good. Now can you do this? How'd you do that? Was it here? Where was that at? It was right here. I just like to tell students, engage the tummy. We don't need to get into the whole diaphragm, open can of worms kind of thing. So basically, when you play, you need to engage these muscles. And that's why, it's the muscles around the rib cage, the intercostal muscles. That's why it's important, you guys, that you take a good breath every single time. If you did a shallow breath, what do you squeeze? You can't squeeze anything, so we start crumbling, right? We start collapsing and doing all sorts of crazy stuff, compensating. If you take a good breath, you can control it all down there. When you play, this upper body should have nothing to do with your playing at all. When you do these external exercises, you can really focus on those muscles and how you take a breath. You were taking amazing breaths because it was paced and all that. But I'll talk about this when I do my master class. I'm going to do a brief pedagogy thing on what to practice and things. But that's basically why external breathing exercises are great. All right, I want to get into some long tones. Go ahead and get your instruments out. If I only have 15 minutes to practice, or warm up rather, or just, there's two things I'm sure I need to practice, and that's long tones, i.e. air, or tone exercises, and flexibility. And that's what we're going to do this morning. And with time permitting, we'll get into some scales, range, and improv. But that's going to be the basic focus of this morning's exercises. I like to do, we all do long tones. Who does long tones every single day? Why do we do long tones? Yes?
It helps us core our sound before we get into the more funny things.
Yeah, and again, I'll talk about this in my master class, but basically we're starting laying down our foundation, which is our sound. Everything else, doesn't matter how high, how fast, how loud you can play, if it doesn't have a good sound, what's the point? It's not going to sound good. What's the first thing you judge when you hear someone play? Your sound. Okay, so sound is really important. Y'all can keep, let's go ahead and stand up still. And get some space. My favorite flow study is Chickowitz, but I don't have handouts, we don't have a projector. We're gonna do something called Remington, which most of you guys do anyways. We're gonna start middle register, then go up, then go down. But first thing is just the G, F sharp G. It's gonna be half note, G, F sharp, G, 2, 3, 4, G, F, G. Okay, we're gonna go down. We'll go down all the way to the 7, the 1, 2, 3. Don't forget your breath. Don't forget to stay relaxed. The shoulders down. Here we go. And 1, 2, mezzo forte. Do G, C, G, F sharp, B, F sharp. Gonna go same kind of deal, but now going up. Try so G, G, C, G. So next one. Make sure that everything's relaxed. Make sure your hand position, everything. Standing up, but you warm up. When you warm up, standing up is not a bad thing because you definitely won't have bad posture and everything. We go G, C, G, and 1, 2, 3, and. Go to the open series. One thing you can practice as you're preparing for marching band, like I said, I'm just throwing little things here and there. This is not going to be the whole like focus. But as you're doing this, you can start doing it on the move. Da, da, with step outs. Da, dee, da. And start practicing your probably even. Everybody has that. So let's do that one more time, and we'll just go down the bugle series 1 and 2, and we'll come back up. Does that make sense? Back up, and let's do it on the move a little bit. And this is, even if you don't do marching band, you never will again. Just humor me. And there's a lot of us in here that will do marching band, so I just want to give some options. Now, the step offs that's sometimes a big deal. So does anybody, when you warm up in your band programs, do you do step-offs? We do that? So everybody knows what I'm talking about. So anytime we start a new exercise, you just step off. Right. Or you can go back, you can go sideways. We want to do right or left. Start on the right or left foot? Left. Left? All right, here we go. Let's do angle 15 degrees. Not 15 degrees, even. Here we go. G, C, G, marching band style. On the move. 1, 2. Let me put the thing on. Hold on, sir. Yes. Duck, 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 duck. That's all we'll do on that. But that, as you're preparing for summer camp, that's something that you can throw in once in a while in your warm-up as you prepare for that. Some of you guys are starting like in 2-3 weeks or so. All right, going back to just standing, let's finish out the long tones. Let's do that one. No moving anymore. Here we go. And 1, 2, 3, and. Can't really go any lower. All right, so starting just your basic, and again, I like the chiclets because it helps me keep my air moving. It's not, I like the Remington, but it's just, you can get kind of go on autopilot and get stagnant a little bit, your air, rather than that kind of helps move. It's more musical. So those are usually what I do for long tones, but I didn't have a means to get y'all, well, I should have done it, but it would have been really expensive too. But anyways, whatever long tone type exercise stamp or something like that, just make sure that if you want to be consistent, your daily routine has to be consistent as well. So, all right, we're going to move on to something else. We can take out our lead pipe. Be very careful where you put it. If you put it on your case, on your chair, do not step on it. Please, this is hard to fix, so don't ever, be careful. This is called lead pipe. It's called foghorn, I've heard it called. And if you're into the Bill Adams routine, this is kind of a big deal with that. I like it. We're going to match a pitch. Now, I have a reverse lead pipe B flat. So usually when you do this, you could put a drone on concert E flat. But I can't do that, so we're going to do concert D, because I know you could do that. I've done it with my students. Can y'all find that? Here we go. Just find it on your own. Ready? Okay. Very controlled. See if you can do it as soft as you can. Yeah. Make sure you're not getting tense. You're not choking back. Actually, the air is moving freely, and you just kind of having it. That balance of buzz with air and immediacy of sound. We're going to do 2 measures of 4/4 with a break. We're just going to start with the long tones. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Rest. 2, 3, 4, 1. And I'm going to change it up a little bit, but right now we're just going to start with pianissimo. I'll talk more about why we do this later, but let's do a few of these. Pianissimo. 1, 2, 3. Sustain. Off. 2. Again. Off. Crescendo. Start soft. Ready? Again, half notes and. Quarters. Ready? Make sure you're not. But very connected, very sostenuto. Don't explode the air when you rearticulate. The tongue is just releasing the air. Think of it that way. Just the tip of the tongue, just a taste bud. Let's try it again. Quarter notes. So 1, 2, ready, go. Again, hear some bumps. Much better. Make sure you're using a lot of support. Last time, quarters. 1, 2, support. Eighth notes. Dot, dot. One, 2, 3, 4. Just 2 minutes. Good. Triplets. Dot, 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 dot. Off, 2, again, and. Six, 16th. Da, 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 3 E and a 4 E and a 1, 2, 3. Last time, 16th, 2, 3, 4. Sustain, 2, sustain. Good. All right, let's put the plumbing back together carefully. That same approach where we were being very efficient, we were very relaxed, no pressure. We weren't using any pressure. We want to take that into our horn. I just want to do about. You should always relate what you did when we back to the horn when I do lead pipe or mouthpiece. So we're just going to do just G, F sharp G, for your best sound. Pretend you're still doing foghorn. Take that same approach now into your playing. So here we go. G, F sharp G. 1, 2, just once. Good. I do lead pipe as part of my warm up. And also, if I feel like I'm having a day where I'm having response issues, where it's like pata, pita, that's a good exercise to do to get everything back into balance. Yes.
Would you work on that for articulation also?
And I added the articulation because I started realizing sometimes problems arise when you start trying to tongue with tongue and air, and that really helps you figure out what's really happening. Yes.
Do you also recommend doing a different valve lead pipe buzzing, like on the second valve? You're trying to like match the pitch.
Oh, I've never even heard of that,
yeah.
so that's kind of cool. Yeah, why not? If it works for you, my thing is if it's working for you, and at the end of the day, if you sound great, you're feeling stronger, yeah, keep with it. Sometimes what works for me won't work for my students, so you have to, I'd always tell my students, you have to be that kind of like a Johnny Appleseed, get information from everybody and see what works. And don't be afraid to say, okay, that's not working, so wait on. And it's okay, everybody's a little different. Another good exercise, if you're having response issues before I go to mouthpiece, is basically I start blowing air into the horn and I bring my lips together until a sound happens. And I start speeding it up until I start getting that. So want to try that real quick just on your own. Just blow air and bring the lips together until you get the pop, the sounds pops. And also, if you feel like you need, it helps really define the center of pitch, your sound, It's just a good little exercise to do to make sure everything is, you're not pressing, definitely. Who here does mouthpiece?
A little bit.
Okay, mouthpiece for me is like, yeah, a little bit. It's kind of like in my coffee, I like sugar, but too much, it's just like, I can't drink it. So for me, if I do too much mouthpiece, I get tense, I get tight. Definitely, it's a different feel, but I do think it's very beneficial, so I do moderate mouthpiece, for sure. If you like to do an hour of mouthpiece, God bless you, go for it, if it's working for you, but it doesn't work for me. There's certain, if you have a burp, that would be ideal to use because then you could use the fingerings. If not, most people right now don't. I didn't bring mine either. There's some good rules of thumb to do. I think you should hold it with your non-dominant hand. I'm going to put my horn down for this. Just be careful. I wanted some space. Make sure you don't accidentally sit on your horn or step on your horns. When you do mouthpiece, you definitely don't want to use any pressure. So I advocate two fingers and a thumb on the stem with your non-dominant hand. Sometimes I've seen drum corps do this kind of number and thing, or some people. One thing that I think is very important when you do mouthpiece, make sure that you hold it in the right angle of when you play. Because I've seen drum corps, they play like this, but when they actually play, trumpet is down here. You do like a little 45 degree. I know I do. So when I do mouthpiece, I do it usually on the horn with a little burp kind of thing, but don't change the embouchure. So when you do mouthpiece, make sure it's the same angle. If you need to get your horn and figure that out, go for it, but make sure it's usually 45 degrees down. I like to do stamp. Anybody familiar with stamp? Play for you. It's the and it's the same thing that we just keep going down half steps. And we're going to do this with drones. Yeah. We'll do a little higher. Yeah. Can you just center the concert B flat? It's your C. You ready? Suggest is don't do this. Try to keep everything. I always think if you want to be glissy, be glissy. That's much better than trying to manipulate the air with, tonguing the air. All right, let's give this a shot. Da, da, 1, 2, 3. What's the next one? B flat. Go 1, 2, 3. And really try to center that low pitch. I like using drones. Because it really, when you do mouthpiece, a great benefit that derived from this activity is your ear training. What's the most important body part when you play a brass instrument? Yeah, I kind of gave it away there. I think it's your ear. Not everybody would say the chops, the lungs, but I truly think it's the ear. And we always, who works on ear training every single day? Or tries to? Yeah, I think you should. You practicing with drones, it would help you out quite a bit. When you get into college, those of you that are in college or wanting to go into college into music, ear training is a way of life. And if you struggle at ear training, I've noticed students struggle as trumpet players. If you excel, you have a leg up, so to speak, on trumpet. You have to have a good ear. You know, someone once told me, playing trumpet's so easy, you only have 3 fingerings. Well, no. Each fingering has like up to like 10, 11 or something. So your ear, for your accuracy, has to be really spot on that. So keep working on your ear training. If you have an opportunity to be in choir, do that. Anything you can do to just, so you can associate singing with trumpet. If you don't have a drone, if you want to do some quick mouthpiece, my teacher used to just like to do simple tunes. Like Mary Had a Little Lamb, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. So let's do Mary, Mary Had a Little Lamb. Let's try that together. Do, do, oh, 1, 2, 3. But I won't pick it. Can someone pick it?
Row, row, row your boat.
Row, 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 row your boat gently down the stream. Okay. Let's do it in a canon. Let's try that. Well, we'll find a pitch. But how about this is group 1, beginning here. Group 2 in the back. Group 3. So da 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 da. Everybody get it? Let's get a pitch. What's a good pitch? Let's give it a shot. Here we go. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. This group. Pretty high, but that was interesting. But just, on that brain. Yeah, but picking simple tunes, I think it's just a great way to just do some quick mouthpiece. Certainly, my teacher Keith Johnson is who I studied with at North Texas, and he was a big advocate on doing. He didn't like stamp; he wanted to do simple tunes. So and there's just a bunch that you can do too. We can make it fun by doing that. All right. We're going to do some slurs. Put our pipes back together. Again, we don't have sheet music or projector, so I'm just going to show you. Let's do, and we're going to go down a bugle series, 1 and 2, and always go back up. And then always repeat the last note that we just played in the end. So, how about? Etc. Now 1, 2, then back up. Here we go. Stay relaxed, shoulders down, good breath. You can use support. 1, 2, 3. So I just did A, G, G, just to sustain. All right. How about? Etc. And G, 2, 3. forcing, keep that same approach that we had with breathing, with lead pipe. Remember, everything is just kind of building on that foundation, which is our sound, and how we produce that sound, which is relaxed, efficient, with plenty of air. Again, you can start, if you're preparing for marching band, da, da, dee, da, da, you can start doing on the move. I won't subject you to that right now, but, but that would be something good to do. One more. Y'all remember that one? Give it a shot. Starts on 4. And 1, 2. Note we ended with, so it was a low C. Someone tell me, what is a slur?
Fast bliss.
Fast list? What do you think?
What is a slur?
Yeah,
The transition of two notes without the tongue.
that's good. I think the best definition is getting from one note to the next note without using your fingers or your tongue, right? So how do we get from one note to the next note without using our fingers or our tongue?
Flexibility.
Flexibility?
Your tongue.
Airspeed.
Airspeed. Yeah, so definitely. So how do we change the air to get faster, right? Higher notes are faster air, lower notes are slower air. What do we do?
There's a variety of methods there.
Yeah, and so I'll talk about this in my master class too. But definitely the air has to get faster, and it's right here. So we engage this. But then of course there's the other part, which is the embouchure, the aperture, which is controlled by these muscles. So the best way to, but we get into some problems with the balance of some of these muscles in on our embouchure. And the best way to really get a handle of balance is to practice slurs. More to come on my master class about this, more specifically the types of muscles and the type of embouchures and things. But I think you should be doing flexibility exercises, i.e. slurs, daily. I still do slurs every single day as part of my warm-up. I cycle through 3 things. It's usually the Zudi Book 1. I have my student starts on irons. I think it's the best way. If you're struggling with slurs, the irons book is the best one, I think, to start with. Maybe the violin, close second. But anyways, I think really, if I don't do slurs for a few days, I start feeling it because I start manipulating, and I feel everything just kind of starts breaking down. And it's basically the way I think about it is my balance is off. Something is a little bit off, and I'm compensating, and then I start getting into trouble. And when I do slurs, it just helps me keep everything. I don't hurt myself as much. So who does slurs every single day? When should you do slurs? In the morning, afternoon, evening?
Second practice session.
Second practice session? After what?
After long tones and then flutter tongue exercises. That's
Flutter,
what.
you like to do flutter tongue? What are we going to say?
I always follow it up with exercise like Clark.
Oh, some fingers, dexterity?
Well, finger dexterity, but also Clark 1 is generally slurred. Mm-hmm. So you're used to moving your air by them, and then
Definitely.
just a natural transition, just lips.
Clark is my favorite book. I think it's the perfect book. And I'll talk about that too, why I think that is. I think what Zudi said that he doesn't like to practice slurs in the morning because he feels it gets tight. I remember that. It was like a little master class when I was like your age. And I always thought about that, okay, practice. But now I do long tones, and I try to practice in the morning. When I practice in the morning, guys, like 8 or 9 o'clock, I feel like I'm a better player. Especially if I do that, you know, for a few days or try to maintain it consistently. I think when I do morning practice, I'm going to be successful. If I'm going to do a recital, I start doing morning practices. I sometimes get lax if there's nothing really coming, and it's a constant battle with me. But who does morning practices? And I think a morning routine is ideal, but it should be one that is flexible. It shouldn't be something that you do 30 minutes every single day or an hour. So, because sometimes you only may have 5 minutes, 10 minutes. So it definitely should be flexible. And long tones and flexibility should definitely be in it somewhere. But some books to use. I talked about the irons. It's a great one to start because it's progressive. You have a lot of material to cover before it gets a little bit more tougher into the upper register. By Lynn. We call books by who wrote them rather than what they're called, by the way. We say the Arbans, but it's not really called the Arbans. What is it called?
Arbit's complete conservatory method for the trumpet cornet.
Isn't there a celebrated in there somewhere too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
Well, the irons is I think it's 27 something. But just so you know, FYI, when I talk about books, violin. Anybody know what the violin? What's it called? The type?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I thought it was the violin forever.
The violin?
Yeah, the violin. I was like,
What are some other good books for flexibility?
Schlossberg.
chains.
Schlossberg.
Phil Colin.
Oh, Charles Colin. Advanced Flexibilities.
I like the Ziti slurs.
The Zudi book
Arvin.
one. Clark. Some people like the Clark. I think the Clark it is a flexibility, but it's also finger dexterity. And you can, I mean, it's perfect because you can do also articulation with it. But yeah, I think if you don't have, who owns a flexibility book, a slur book? If you don't, you need to buy one, and you should buy the irons. I'll go to my spiel. I think Arbans has horrible flexibility exercises, or not enough. It's lacking, definitely. There is 2 pages in the Arbans or 3 pages that I like. Anyway, and the very last one, he just goes into the. That kind of deal, and basically that's pretty much it. That's in there. So I think purchasing other slur books would be ideal. Moving on. We have some time. I wanted to do, if we had time, to do some scales, range, and improvisation. I want to do some major scales. Who knows all 12 major scales? Awesome. Shall we do 2 octaves? What do you think?
Yeah.
All right. Let's go start with C major. We're going to go the circle of fifths. Pattern is this. So we do the arpeggio. Maybe not, no arpeggio. And we'll go a little slower. 1, 2, 3. Major scale, C major. 1, 2, 3, go. G major. We go 1, 2 octaves. Ready. There. Try to keep it. Take a very lyrical approach. I'm seeing like getting kind of trumpet jockey. Just do this. Keep your shoulders down. If you think of it more of as a pretend it's a pretty song. Everything's nice and open and resonance. Instead of, you don't want any of that. So always play with a good sound. If you're not playing with a good sound, you're just burning chops. And you're also reinforcing bad habits. So always play with a good sound. That should be like the priority at all times. Can we do G major again? More resonance, more better tone. 1, 2, G, go. 2, ready, B, dog. A, 1, 2, 2 octaves. E, go, 1, 2, ready, 1 octave. B major, let's just do 1 octave. 2, 3, 10. F sharp, 6 sharps, F sharps, 1 octave. Let's just go back to 1 octaves. F sharps, 2, ready, go. C sharp, 7 sharps, everything sharp. 1, 2, ready, 1 octave. Push ups, that's a wrong note. You don't extend the third bow slide. Now we're going to jump to A flat. A flat, 2 octaves. So 1, 2, 3, 10. E flat, 1 octave, 1, 2, ready, 10. B flat, 2, ready, go. Alright, and last one, F major, 1 octave, 1 octave, 2, ready, go. Why is it important to know as trumpet players our scales? What?
Oh, never mind. I don't know. Probably I don't know.
Yes.
It's in music?
The way our music is written for trumpets, we can't do certain things. We can't play like the flutes. We can't do these crazy octave leaps and range displacement type things. So our music is really generally in a major or minor tonality. So it's ideal. I mean, if you want to become a better sight reader or better learn music quicker, it's better. And when it comes to transposition as well, knowing your major scales is really beneficial. Practicing major scales also allows you to practice articulation, fingers with the tongue, all sorts of things. So practicing scales, it's just like you're getting so much out of it. I like to be efficient at all times, kill 2 birds with 1 stone kind of thing, and practicing scales I think is one of those exercises that gives me a lot of benefit, a lot of bang for my buck, as it were. If you're interested in going to college, you have to know your major scales. Usually after your 4th semester of college, there's a barrier, and you basically have to play all your major and minor scales, all forms of the minor scales, natural minor, harmonic, and melodic. It's up like 48 scales total. So, I mean, if that's what you're looking to do, you need to go into college knowing your major scales. And if you can do all 12, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to do all 12 scales before college. Why wait? And if you're in college and you still don't know your major and minor scales, you keep kind of like struggling, A flat minor is still a deal for you, you really need to like have a come to Jesus moment, because it just needs to happen. I will admit, my first semester at college, I got an F in my scale exam. So I was like, it's not important. I'll just go in there and just play the ones I know. I just never took it seriously. But then after that, I got A's after that because I really got after it. And he was old school too. As a freshman, I could do all forms, major, minor, all forms of the minor, all 48, memorized. So he's super old school. He was like in the Army and stuff like that. This is at West Texas A&M. He studied with John Haney at North Texas. So he was just kind of that disciplinarian type of thing. But it really helped me when I learned it. I felt like everything just got so much better. So if nothing else, you will become a better trumpet player. There's only one way to play high notes, and that is to play high notes. You can't read a book. You can't get that special mouthpiece. It may work for like 5 minutes, but then after that, you're like hamburger meat. So I think, if you're going to do practice on your range, when should you practice on range in the day, in your practice routine? At the end?
I do very beginning.
Beginning? I don't like to practice range when I'm tired. So I would do it after maybe my long tones, flexibility, take a little break, and then start doing some range. Now, you can practice range by doing specific range exercises, or you can practice range by, when you do your fundamental work, doing the full range of your instrument, like doing 2 octaves in your scales, like going higher in your slurs, in the Chickowitz, going higher. So you can cover range that way as well. But right now, I'm going to do a separate, just a range exercises. We're going to do it in thirds. I hope people know your major arpeggios, because that's what it's going to be. I'm going to start on G. Anybody know what I just did?
Yeah.
All right. And then we're just going to keep going up. There you go. G. G, B, D, G. Then go down. 2, 3, and. Let's hold the top note 3 counts. 3 counts. Sorry about that. Let's try A flat, A flat. Da, da, dee. Or you can do all 2, 3. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. A few things as you go up, like to the next one, make sure that it's air first. Don't set the chops. Don't do this. That kind of thing, but it's air. Air first, the lips only react to the air that you give it. So make sure that you're not preparing, you're not anticipating that move at the next millisecond. Here's A. You can do all 1 and 2. 1, 2, 3, turn. B flat next. There you go. B flat. 1, ready, turn. B major. Try to point at somebody's head. See people's doing this kind of thing. So be careful. Here we go. B major. Sorry. B. RB. Be off second valve. 1, 2, 3. Oh, here we go. Now going into the C's. Here we go. C. Okay, make sure your shoulders are down. Make sure that you do a lot of support. 1, 2. Hit some of these notes, just go for it. Even if it's kind of like the cat spittle, or it's just like that kind of deal. Go ahead and do it, because eventually, from a little squeal, a real note will form. So if just go after it. You should keep practicing until even past what you can play. Because that's how your lips will never learn. Your chops will never learn how to set if you never go past. If you've got a good C, but the C sharp is not really working for you, keep practicing that C sharp and the D even if it's just kind of a squeal, just a little, kind of thing. Here's C sharp, E sharp, G sharp, C sharp. Here we go. 1, 2. Do the D. Do the D open, our first valve, whatever you want to do. There we go. 1, 2. Two more?
Yeah.
All right, here's E flat. Don't hurt yourself though. Don't be a hero. Don't poop. Make sure that you're being healthy. You're using your hair. E flat. I'm gonna step back. 1, 2, 3. Got some screamers in here.
Yay!
One more. And 1, 2. That one got a little weak. I mean, we're reaching our ceiling on that one a little bit. Keep practicing range. I think it's, if you want to increase your range, you have to just expose and teach your chops and how to play those notes. Be careful. I would not practice range when I'm tired because you start manipulating. You start pressing. You don't want to do that. When I practice, my goal is not to get tired. I try not to get tired. It's not always successful, but that's kind of the thing that I try to do. Taking lots of breaks and that sort of thing. After this thing, maybe you would go and get a drink of water, or if you're at home, do something, but make sure you're taking lots of breaks. Really quick, before we move on, if you want to do some low, to kind of just get everything a little bit back. On your own, just kind of... Let's get in a circle if we can. We kind of get in a circle.
Bailey gonna shred us.
Oh, people can stay over there. I meant like circle where you were. Yeah, the circle is right here. So people get on that side. Yeah, it's a circle.
David's gonna be David. David, so nice.
Improv session, man. Oh, rats.
He puts his pants in the pockets and
Yeah, a circle.
I love that.
There we go. That's Mr. Brawley over there.
Okay. All right, we're gonna do in F major. We just did F major, and we're gonna only the notes in F major, and we're gonna kind of like go one by one and do something, a lyrical thing. And it's gonna be 2 measures of 4/4. I'll start it, and if we kind of get off, I'll kind of jump in too a little bit. But we're just gonna kind of go down a little bit. I think we have time. We may have to go pretty fast. I may stop you if you get tired, but you just play whatever comes to your mind, and just a melodic, a beautiful thing, or if you want to kind of get fancy, if you know jazz. But it's just going to be 2 measures of 4/4. Maybe I should have it. I'll start it. Who wants to go first after me?
David.
Those goes.
Oh, are we? Hey!
Oh, I'm going to go first. All right. We'll start with you. There we go. Don't worry about it. This is foolproof, seriously.
Okay.
All the F major. Let's just do F major together real quick. Just one octave. Here, F2. Ready? Good. Yes, here we go. I start at 3. And how about? Not bad.
I thought mine was like.
Was that the first time that you heard of improv? Like in public? Everyone's ever, this wasn't the first time for anybody?
It was, well, I mean, doing it.
Yeah. It's not, I think improvising, having a period of time in your practice, this is the best, where you just play something that is fun. Because remember, at the end of the day, after doing all these fundamental, all these dry kind of work, things that we have to do to get better as trumpet players, we sometimes forget that we started this instrument because it was fun, right? We enjoyed it. We enjoyed playing that little piece that we had that we used to play all the time in middle school or in high school. And I think as we get into college, we start forgetting that. And it's good to have a little period of your practice where you just play something that you enjoy, something fun. Even if it's just improvising something. So maybe, we still have a little bit of time. We're going to do together as a group maybe one piece that we would all know. Maybe like something kind of easy. Does everybody know Humble First Movement?
Yeah.
Not really?
Let's do the Haydn. Haydn.
Oh, I don't know the Haydn. I don't know how to need one.
I love the national anthem.
We should play the national anthem. Let's try the national anthem then.
Oh, yeah.
Minor.
Let's see what happens. I'll give you 1, 2. I think it's in 3.
Yes.
Oh, 1, 2. It's a rest. Thank you so much.